Hello, friends. Uh, it's been quite a long time since I last, well, gave a status report. The first video. Yeah, I'd thought about giving up on YouTube after that. You see, I went a few more times to the gym, but in the end, something happened with my thumb during bench press. Bench press. I'm not fully sure what it was, but suddenly there was this stinging pain right here where the bar would be on my hand whenever I lifted anything or grabbed anything. And yeah, that sucked. And after that, or when extending my thumb like this, on the final stretch from here to here, it would feel like the joint was catching on something. And yeah, that was very, very demotivating. It wasn't bad enough to go see a doctor, and it started going away bit by bit, but it's been close to 2 months now and it's still not fully gone. And I have to be careful what I do with that hand. For example, opening a glass, a jar, I can and feel the thumb doesn't like that. It's, yeah. So after going only, what, 3 or 4 times to the gym, after finally managing to convince myself to go, yeah, I sadly stopped. I wanted to continue, but I wouldn't have gained anything if I just destroyed my hand. The thumb is, yeah, too important to ruin it like that. Yeah, I had actually signed a full year contract because that was cheaper and I intended to go. But that happened 1 or 2 days before the 14-day back out time was over. So on the last day, I cancelled, as much as I hate it. Yeah, it turns out I suck at recording stuff. So this is a different day, and I'm wearing a different shirt. But continuing where I left off. So, although I can't go to the gym anymore, at least for the time being, I won't give up. In the past, this would have been a killing blow for my motivation. You know, I finally pushed myself to do such a big change, to really put in effort. And then the mortal flesh throws a wrench into the system. Yeah, it sucks, but it is getting better, and I think I will be able to go again. So my conviction wasn't wasted. You know, maybe it's this willingness to change in and of itself that changed something. Because I feel better, more positive. Like, even though this messed up a lot of my plans, I can still be successful. And one change this led to is that I started drinking tea. Well, some tea. I used to think that tea is simply bitter water with maybe some coloring. I'm sure you had that. You try a fancy taste of tea, apple vanilla, and then you get some nondescript taste that might have a hint of apple. Disappointing, but that's one of the big things that led me to just not liking tea. But I found some old, like really old, herbal tea up in the cupboard. It's 2024 and that stuff ran out in spring of 2020. Yeah. So I tried some of that and it was pretty good. So I rummaged around another cupboard where I knew there was other tea, and the mystical apple vanilla happened to be there. Doesn't taste a bit like apple vanilla. But I also found some lemon mint, and that tastes quite nice. You know, drinking tea in and of itself is not a big change, but it shows that I'm willing to look at what I disliked in the past and what I did, think about it again, and change my mind. I'm no longer as stuck in my ways, you know? And it's progress. So, yes, I've tried tea and I've continued losing weight. In the past, I would have given up on the entire endeavor from that one significant failure. You know, bad omen and all that. But that was because I had a overly negative outlook on life in the past. I would always see the bad. I would look for the bad. If there was nothing bad, I would, in my mind, make something up that had to be there. You know, an agenda, something I missed, something hidden. Yeah, but how am I supposed to make progress like that? If all I can think of is the negative, how can I win? How can I get a positive life, experience positive things when I look for the negative? Yeah. So I haven't given up on anything yet. I had given up on YouTube, but I mean, one video. What did I expect? It's one amateurish, bad video, just like this one. So yeah, I had given up on YouTube, but I'm continuing. Just like I'm continuing losing weight. This time I won't give up. Even if it's just half a kilo a week. Even if it's just not gaining weight again. That is a win. And that I'm willing to celebrate now. Because every win matters. And with every win that I'm willing to recognize, I change my outlook. A bit more positive. I still think being happy-go-lucky and always looking for only the good is a bit stupid, because sometimes things are simply bad. But I don't want to look for bad things anymore when there just aren't any outright, in plain view. I don't want to make them up anymore. I want to be happy. And in the last 10 years, I wouldn't have been able to even say that. And one of these small victories is that in the months between the last video and this one, I've lost some weight. I've come down from, give or take, 168 kilograms to something between 166 and 165. It varies a bit. Today I was a bit above 166, yesterday I was a bit below 165. But, you know, it feels good. I've made small changes. I've made small changes, and I really feel the impact of those. I used to think that eating a big breakfast, or brunch, it was always fairly late for breakfast, would help me eat less. You know, my thinking was fairly logical. I would eat something big at around 11, something with a lot of protein, and that would keep me full until evening, and then in the evening I would only eat something small. That way I would reduce my caloric intake overall and lose weight. Makes sense, right? Well, I ignored one key issue. Because the plan in general worked. I would eat in the morning and feel good until evening. But then in the evening I would get hungry again, as the plan was. But that was where the problem lay. In the plan, I would only eat something small in the evening. But yeah, I would cook for myself because I would want something warm. So I would cook for how much I think I want to eat to sate my hunger. And I'm really bad at estimating that. So I would always cook more. not a big problem in and of itself, except that I lack the discipline to not eat all of it. So I would either eat all of it at once or eat about, let's say, half, and then at night, 10, 11, 12, I would always get this whisper inside my head. This, it's just a bit, just a small snack, just this once, you know? And I would give in. It would be there, and I would think, if I don't eat it now, I'll eat it tomorrow, so what's the difference? And I would eat it every time. And so instead of being at 2,500 calories, meaning a 500 calorie deficit, I would always be at 3,000 or above, because I cooked too much. The breakfast I liked to eat was high protein bread, 4 slices. I always thought too much, but it always kind of ended up that way. Cream cheese, a can of tuna, and 4 sunny side up runny eggs. Those aren't quite as easy to make as I thought, but that would always total me at around 1,000 calories for the breakfast. And that would be great if I managed to really not eat much in the evening. But since I never quite managed that, I would always make something big in the evening for, probably around 2,000 calories. And then I would eat it. And then I would be at 3,000. And instead of being in a deficit, I would not be in a deficit. And I would either not lose weight or even gain weight because I'm stupid. Because I'm weak. And I said it now. I could admit that I am weak. And that is the first step to change. And change I did. I stopped eating breakfast. I don't really even know how that started. For years I didn't eat breakfast. I was never hungry in the morning. And I couldn't really be bothered to make anything to take along to school. And then, last year, I think it was around summer, I suddenly decided, you know what? Breakfast, that sounds like a brilliant idea. I'm not really sure where that thought came from. But breakfast was a possible solution. Didn't work for me, so I cut it out. But maybe it works for you. That breakfast alone always brought me into, I think it was around 100 grams of protein. It was pretty good. And it was tasty. Really tasty. But what's the point of purely being tasty if it doesn't help me reach my progress? Reach my goals. So I cut it out. And it started going better. I also try to bring in, or rather to keep, an intermittent fast, An 16 hours fast, 8 hours eat split. But I'm actually hoping to get to a 20 hours fast and 4 hours eat split, because for quite some time I used to eat 1 meal a day and just nothing the other time. And that had worked pretty well. Given that was when I tried the keto diet, and I wouldn't do that again. Another thing I find quite worthy of being mentioned is that in the past I would have been very unsatisfied with losing 3 kilos in 2 months. 3 kilos in 2 months? Really? All my effort and that's all I get? But not anymore. It's a mentality change. 3 kilos is 3 kilos. That's have it or not have it. That's 2 1.5 liter bottles of water. that's not little at all. I don't see it when I look at myself, but the numbers, I think because there's so much weight to lose, those 3 kilos they don't shift the balance, but they are significant. In the past, I wouldn't have been happy about 3 kilos, but now, 3 damn kilos. 3 damn kilos. And most of the work didn't happen most of the work happened this month, not last month. In one of those 2 months. And now I can look at half a kilo and be satisfied. I can look at not rising weight and be satisfied because it's progress.